I still hear people in this great country saying that if only I could, if only I had the money, there's no way to get ahead, the system is rigged, you have to have capital, you have to this, if you have to be born with this, or you have to have friends. And that is purely all illusion. Those people suffering those illusions don't see it, but I certainly see it. And here's why. I did a talk about this some years ago on the farm, my kind of rags to riches thing, and that's where I come from with this discussion, is from my history and my experience in life, and I want to delve into that again. You know, I come from a very troubled childhood, very disrupted education. Primary education was all I got. No high school, and I took classes as a young adult, as in my 20s, just to get viable skills. But what I recognized as a kid is that there's always a way to make money. And in my talk about that, I discussed how when I was a boy, I took those greeting cards that you get in the mail, you know, samples. You used to get these all the time. You get samples around the holidays, and say they would send you a few cards and envelopes and say, buy the full set for X amount of dollars. Well, I would go to the post office and retrieve those out of the trash. People would just throw them in the trash at the post office. They would go in a dumpster, and I would violate federal law unwittingly as a young child of 9 or so. I would go in the dumpster and get those and bring them door to door and sell full sets, because, you know, hundreds of people throw those away. You got thousands of cards. And I made cash. I made money to buy my little dipstick candies and Charleston Chews and Coca-Colas and whatnot, shamefully. But I realized there's always money sitting out there. It's always on the table somewhere. You just have to go and get it. So what you need, my formula, is a little appetite, maybe a little imagination, a little intestinal fortitude. Things like that are the ingredients for this great soup of investing. And it's just that. Like, if you can just, when I say imagination, I mean as simply as saying, I imagine I could make $1 million this year if I got my head out of my wazoo and just realized that it's all there. It's all right there. I don't need anything special. So I would say to young would-be investors, just, forego those grande lattes and those tattoos and piercings for a while. You know, put that in some sort of interest-bearing account. Oh, well, that's not going to do anything. That's not going to amount to anything. It's a few dollars a day. What, $5, $10 a day? Yes. Absolutely, unequivocally, yes. Take that $10 a day and put it in an interest-bearing account while you look around for greater interest-bearing accounts or investments. Let your money work for you. Case in point, I saved up a little money. I'm always, saving and investing and saving then investing, and I'll do peanut stuff. I'm not ashamed to do small stuff. I'll take the margins that people leave. If you are selling a tiny home or a camper or a trailer and I see it's undervalued, I'll buy it and I'll market it properly and sell it and make a few $1,000s here and there. Then I'll take those monies and put them aside and save up for something greater, like a 50 horsepower tractor that I want to resell, or a piece of property. Okay, so like recently, I found a piece of property in my area that was sold last for $37,000, right? And then it was discovered, due diligence was not done. That's another thing that you need to learn about if you're going to be a real estate investor. It was discovered that it wouldn't perk for a traditional septic system. And around here, you need septics where there's no municipal sewer. So I thought about it, and I went, the The ask was, the person was willing to lose a bunch of money because they just wanted to get out of it. So I paid 37 a couple of years ago, and they were asking 30 for it. I went in. I'm not a ruthless buyer, but I said, look, kind of like this. Hey, if it doesn't sell, I've got an offer. You know, people don't like to be lowballed. I don't like to lowball, but I do like to pick up as much margin as I can. So I went in and said, well, it's been on the market for a while. How about 20? Would you entertain that? I ended up getting an offer accepted at 21,500. So the price of a used car for almost a half an acre of land. So those things are out there. Now, I have the trouble with losing a small amount of due diligence money if I decide to back out, which I typically don't do. What will end up happening more likely is that I will put a non-traditional or a septic system kind of above, like a mound system on this property and run with it, or not, just flip it and make 10,000 or so after taxes. I have multiple plans. There's a strategy in income when I go into an investment like this. I like to have options: option A, option B, option C. And this coming from a 7th grader, it's just a little bit of imagination. I'm boasting about peanuts, right? These are peanuts, but you can do this with millions of dollars too, not just tens of thousands. And that's your way. That's your stepping stone, your ladder to that greater success. It's all relative. To me, this is success. I'm comfortable, and I find that the world is open if you have, again, the ambition, a little bit of courage, a little bit of imagination, some fire in your belly. And it happens that people from my social stratum growing up, either because statistically, people that live the life that I lived as a child, as a youngster, end up in prison or extremely motivated. It's kind of like extreme. And I ended up quite motivated, got the fire in my belly because I didn't want to live in poverty. I didn't want to be, coming home from school in the 4th grade and have no power because mom couldn't afford to pay the power bill, or no food in the fridge, or what have you, or writing, going to work at Waffle House 15, 16 years old and signing my checks over to my mom to pay rent and buy food while other kids were buying cars. I didn't want to live like that. So instead of, I had my time with being adjacent to the law, not within it, and I paid my fines and penal penalties, if you will. I did go to jail. I went to juvenile hall and things like that, and I kind of learned which road I would travel. And it's easy, my friends. It's there. It's available. Just don't make excuses. I had a talk with a relative the other night who was complaining about, it's very good. We're talking good people, but I kept hearing the complaining about the employer who makes too much money. I've heard that all too often, and it triggers me. Why does this person deserve this much money? If you are right now in your life capable of begrudging other people their money that they're earning, you're on the wrong path. You've got the wrong mindset. Correct your mindset, because you can't achieve when you have that kind of mindset. If we live in a free world and operate in a free market system, which we should, we're not a slave planet, then you should have the mindset that he can earn whatever he wants to earn, I can earn whatever I want to earn, she can, etc. Not screwing people over. In this particular instance, the employer wasn't screwing anyone over, but my relative, who will probably watch this video, forgive me if it offends, was of the mindset that this person was spending too much time on the golf course and didn't need the money and should pay the employee more and this and that. And to which I say, if we are unhappy in our present circumstance, let us not blame the world around us for our circumstance, but rather look within and then find our place in the world. In other words, don't say to the world, you're not putting me in the right place, because that's erroneous on the face of it. You put you in the right place. It doesn't put you in the right place. The employer doesn't put you in the right place or make you flushed out for cash. You do it. And you do it by making yourself completely invaluable to your employer, or going to another employer, or becoming the employer. And that was part of the discussion. Well, if it's so bad, why don't you just do your own thing? And I use this as an example because it's a constant. I've had this discussion with so many young people. Why don't you do your own thing? Well, there's no way. And then we get back to the start of this video, where it's just self-doubt. It's just an erroneous way of operating. You have to use your mind to say, there's always a way, instead of there's no way. Because if you say no way, that's your mantra, my friends. If you say it's impossible for me, you are absolutely right. You know, throw your echo out into the universe. What can I do for the universe? How can I serve? How can I be of value? I am of value, and that's what will echo back to you is how can I serve you? The universe will echo back. What can I do to make your life better? It's an ecosystem. So throw out the proper mantra to the universe. I am successful. I am capable. I have accomplished. Look at all the things I have accomplished thus far. Be they meager, minor things, they are still accomplishments. You got out of bed, you put on your shoes, count that as an accomplishment. You put your pants on, you went outside, accomplishment. You recognize and you show gratitude for those things and feeling blessed, and then it just pours. You know, when I get a small check in the mail, I say, man, it's like, to my wife, it's like the universe is just pouring money on us. It's just nonstop. And then the next day I get 3 checks. It really does happen like that. It's just that simple. So I just wanted to throw out an inspiring message to you all, to you, maybe you young upstarts today. And it's just a matter of a simple shift. Can I or can't I? It's not a question. Of course you can. It's your natural birthright as a human being, especially in this country and still today. Let's get back to calling it a great country. Let's keep it a great country, and let's keep the free market system. Yes, there are those who abuse it and misuse it and make us all look bad, but we know what a proper, beautiful system we have. So I'll leave it at that. I thank you for watching, and I encourage you to go out there and just find stuff. It's just whatever you can, you know, small, mighty, grand, whatever. Just start making stuff happen and have fun with it. Enjoy yourself. I wanted to also insert this very, very critical piece of information, which is along the lines of the things dietary. If you find that you do not have the inspiration, the courage, the imagination that you desire to accomplish the life that you want, look into your diet. Diet is everything. Gut biome is critical to proper thought processes and motivation and just all of life itself. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. Garbage out physically, garbage out mentally, garbage out spiritually. You could be depressed, you could be ill, you can be, and likely are, many of these things if you have a very poor diet. And don't make the mistake again of saying, I can't afford, only fortunate people can eat properly. It's not true. In the end, you will find you can't afford not to eat properly. So I highly recommend a proper diet starting out. Caloric restriction, you'll find if you're eating less, you're spending less money anyway, even if you're buying whole foods and non-GMO kinds of foods. So garbage in, garbage out, good stuff in, good stuff out. There's the rest of your formula. All right, thanks for watching.